The ticks have found the folds behind his ears first. Dozens of them, swollen dark and tight against cracked gray skin, buried where the elephant's trunk cannot reach and his tail cannot swat. The African sun presses down on the waterhole, and flies crowd every crease of his hide, drawn to the blood already seeping from 100 small wounds. He tries to save himself. He flaps one ear, hard, again and again, but the motion only shakes loose dust. The parasites cling tighter, gorging deeper into the fold. He presses his skull against the trunk of a dead acacia and drags it back and forth, grinding bark into raw hide, but the angle is wrong, and the ticks buried behind the ear stay untouched. He drops to his knees in the mud and rolls, coating himself in a thick gray paste that should smother anything living. Yet within minutes, the parasites are feeding again, protected in the one crease no mud can reach. He swings his trunk up and over, again, slapping blindly at his own skull. But the ticks refuse to let go. Then, wading deeper, his legs sink past the mud line into water the color of strong tea. Something changes. Small shapes drift toward him beneath the surface. Not fish, not birds. African helmeted terrapins, drawn by the scent of blood in the water, rise along his submerged legs and begin, gently, to feed. Not on him, but on the parasites clinging to him. Few people ever see this. It happens only here, only in the murk, only when a giant is desperate enough to stand still. Above the waterline, red-billed oxpeckers land along his spine and drop into the folds behind his ears. Prizing ticks loose one by one with short, precise strikes. Below the waterline, the terrapins work his submerged legs, drawn along old scars where blood still seeps. Two different species are cleaning him at the same moment. One in the water, one on his back, turning his enormous gray body into a living carpet of motion. Two different species, working the same wound from two different worlds, and neither one competing with the other. Slowly, the ear stops twitching. The trunk, which had not rested in an hour, sags loose and still. His eyes, narrowed against the flies since dawn, begin to close halfway. The oxpeckers finish along his spine and lift into the branches above. The terrapins, fed, sink back beneath the tea-colored water and vanish. For the first time since the heat rose, the great animal simply stands, breathing, at peace. For the elephant, it is relief that no mud, no bark, no flapping ear could ever earn alone. For the terrapin, it is a meal that would otherwise take a full day of scavenging to find. For the waterhole itself, it is a quiet contract, renewed every dry season, between a giant who cannot clean himself and the smallest creatures who can. Nothing here was designed. It was only repeated, generation after generation, until it became instinct. In a landscape built on hunting and hiding, this is something rarer, a truce. Not between predator and prey, but between suffering and the small, patient creatures who arrive, unasked, to end it.